Hey guys, Judge Joe here for season 2 of Cooking with Daniel.
Hello everyone and welcome to season 2 of Cooking with Daniel. If you would like to check out season 1 and haven't seen it yet, there's 3 episodes to that. So go ahead and click up there on your screen right now and check that out. So to go over the format for today's episode very quickly to kick off season 2 of Cooking with Daniel, Judge Joe was at the store earlier today and picked up 5 different ingredients that I have to cook with. And I don't know what they are yet, so I'm going to be finding out in just a minute, and once I do, I will have 1 hour to complete and present him with a dish. So other than that, guys, let's go ahead and head to the store.
Hey guys, Judge Joe here for season 2 of Cooking with Daniel. In the grocery store, about to shop for 5 secret ingredients. Daniel has no idea. He won't know until we return with them. Open the bag, there they are, and he's got to whip up something. We'll see how he does. Come on, let's go. Ingredient number 1, egg. Number 2, goat cheese. Ingredient number 3, honey mango. Okay, this is ingredient number 4, dried cranberries. Pork chop.
Alright, so let's get to opening whatever that he bought. First thing I see, wow, he bought Jack goat cheese. Okay, wow, I thought this was an avocado, but turns out he bought an eggplant. Never cooked eggplant before. Is this a mango? I think is this a mango? Is that what that is?
Mango.
Yes, a mango. Okay. He bought cranberries. Yeah, dried cranberries. And let's see the protein. Pork loin chops? Alright, he bought some pork loin chops. Kind of show this, I can't really. Alright, so I have, once again, just to reiterate, eggplant, mango, goat cheese, dried cranberries, and pork loin chop. Alright, so time to figure out what I'm going to do with this. Today's chef is Daniel Hall. Daniel is a returning chef from season 1 of Cooking with Daniel. His favorite meal to cook is stir fry, and his nickname is FloppyPENGuinn. Okay, so the first thing that I'm thinking, I cut the eggplant into some strips like this. I'm going to throw them onto a pan, get some olive oil on there, get a little bit of Parmesan cheese and a little bit of spices, and kind of make it like you would, you know, like a baked like squash or cuts of baked zucchini or something like that. Kind of to make them just crispy, nice and crispy. I have never cooked eggplant before, especially with these ingredients, so I really think that might be a really good idea. Okay, so a little bit of change of plans. Instead of going with Parmesan, I think it might be best to grate some of this goat cheese and get that going on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our brush and take some olive oil in a bowl and kind of brush it on top of the eggplant that we sliced up into our thin slices and just get it nice and coated on there. Okay, and next we're just going to be grating some of the goat cheese onto our eggplant. So we're going to go ahead and get our oven preheating to 415. With the mango, to kind of get this involved and get it going, I went ahead and cut it up into slices, and I'm going to be pureeing it. So I'm going to make a mango puree to go with the meal, and I think it's going to be a really good addition, kind of balance the plate, add a sweeter side to everything because we have the eggplant that'll be going in the oven, and we will have the pork chop And we're also going to be throwing the dried cranberries in there as well. Not exactly sure what I'm going to be doing with those just yet, but we'll get that figured out here in a second. So we have our oven preheated to 415. I'm going to go ahead and stick the eggplant in the oven and get that cooking. And we'll be turning that over and letting it cook. It's going to be about 15 minutes on that side right now. And for right now, we're going to go ahead and get our puree started. So we have water, just a little bit of sugar because it is a honey mango, and the mango in there. So let's go ahead and get this started. So then we're gonna leave this for just a minute, kind of get it settled down. And while we're letting that sit for just a minute, I'm going to be thinking about what to do with the other ingredients, especially that pork. I wanna make sure and get it nicely cooked and prepared as best as possible. Okay, so our next step is going to be seasoning the meat. So we're gonna get the pork nice and salted, as well as our black pepper grinder. Get some black pepper on there, just like that. And then we're gonna let it pan sear. Pan is getting hot right now, and once we start to get that cooking, then we will go ahead and transition into looking over the eggplant and the mango puree to get it all plated. Okay, so turns out that I'm gonna go a little different route with the cranberries, the dried cranberries, and it'll be great for the mango puree. So I just happened to be at the store earlier buying some harina pan, which for those of you that don't know is used to make arepa, which is a Venezuelan dish. And I'm gonna try and make a variation of that, sort of like a pancake type dough, to use the dried cranberries and use that with the mango puree. I think it'll work out perfect. And that's a huge blessing that I was at the store earlier buying this, because I wasn't preparing to use it for this. The real fun part, I'm going to knead the dough here in the bowl. Try and get it to a really nice, just really thin, nice consistency so that it's not too thick for him to eat. We've got some of those dried cranberries in there so that it'll taste even better. We're just going to add just a pinch of sugar to help out the dough so it's not super doughy when you taste it. And so I'm going to continue kneading this, and we're going to keep an eye on that pork chop as it's cooking. So now my alarm went off, so it's time to flip over the eggplant. So I'm just going to do that with a spatula here. Get them nice and just flip over and throw some more of that grated cheese on top. Alright, so now it's time to pull the eggplant out of the oven, and it's looking good. It's smelling like it is done. So now, as soon as the meat gets ready, I'm going to start plating everything. Okay, so our puree is pretty much done. Going to give it a taste. That's actually really good. So I'm very excited about the puree. I think it'll really complement the arepa that we're making with the cranberries that are in the arepa, which everything is still cooking, almost done, getting very close to plating and getting everything ready to go. We have about 11 minutes left to get everything done cooking and plated, so I'm really excited about that. Alright, so our pork has just finished cooking. Time to gently set that on the edge of our plate, just like that. Get it to nicely slide off. Don't want to have a messy plate going, because then we got to clean more later, while we're setting it up and getting it ready for presentation. For the next sequence of our plating, we're going to choose some very nice looking eggplant crisps that we have here and set them alongside to kind of give a nice flair of presentation, as we have the meat kind of setting apart from the vegetable. And then we're going to have the arepa cover this portion of the plate. Regarding these two items, which is the eggplant and the pork chop, is going to be just grating just lightly grating a little bit of goat cheese on top of that pork chop, just like this. Kind of bring the plate together, help it hint at the eggplant. I think it'll be a really nice hint at the eggplant as well. And of course, we're going to clean up our plate after I grade this, so I think it's going to really add a nice touch. Okay, so the last part is plating our arepa, just like this. And we're going to be throwing our mango puree on top. So I will go ahead, grab a spoon,
and give it a nice glaze across the top, just like this, with the puree. And so, I think that our plate is just about complete. And I want to highlight the different things that we have going on in the dish. We have our meat, which is the pork chop, the eggplant coming across here, and to balance it all out, we have the sweeter side of things with a sweet arepa with mango puree on top, and the arepa has the dried cranberries inside of it, in the dough.
Returning from Season 1 of Cooking with Daniel is Judge Joe. Judge Joe specializes in grilling various meats and taught Chef Daniel many of his cooking skills at a young age.
Alrighty, Judge Joe, in front of you today you have a pan-seared pork chop loin with 3 eggplant crisps that were baked, including crushed red pepper and grated goat cheese on top, as well as a Venezuelan arepa with the dried cranberries inside, as well as a honey mango puree on top of the arepa.
Great. Chef Daniel, you prepared the plate quite well with the ingredients that I bought. I bought the eggplant, the goat cheese, the pork chop, and the honey mango, and the dried cranberries, which are in the arepa. And looks like you've done a very good job using all 5 ingredients. So I'm happy and excited to be tasting this, and I'm happy and excited to be here with Season 2 of Cooking with Daniel. Now let's get started. Start with the pork chop, pan seared.
Yes, sir.
With goat cheese. That is seasoned and cooked incredibly well. Eggplant. That's great. Adding the crushed pepper was a great idea.
Thank you.
Now the arepa. And be sure and get some of that honey mango in there. I believe this is probably going to complement that pork chop quite well. Oh yeah. It's like an atomic flavor bomb on my taste buds. They're exploding everywhere. That's awesome. That was great use of that honey mango. Better than I expected.
I'm very glad to hear that. Thank you, Judge.
I don't know what else you could have done with any of this. I'm just going to have to enjoy eating it now.
I will admit he certainly does not lack in the outlandish food department when it comes to shopping for these ingredients, but I did try my absolute best to throw them in well and kind of complement each other for him today.
That arepa is great. I think that's a ground maize dough. Get the cranberries in there. Mostly this honey mango puree on top. That just touched everything off.
I'm very glad to hear that. Thank you so much, Judge.
And thank you for a fine job, Daniel.
Thank you. I think today actually really went well for not knowing what 5 ingredients or what the heck I was going to do after I saw most of them. You know, from the goat cheese to the mango, I thought it was crazy, but I ended up actually making it work really well, and I thought that today went very good, and I'm really excited about next week whenever I get to do something more similar to Season 1, where I chose the ingredients and kind of cooked through it. But I think this was an amazing way to kick off Season 2. And once again, if you haven't seen Season 1, be sure to click in the top right part of your screen at the iCard and you can check it out. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment below.